My name is Ellen. I am 29 years old. I live in San Jose, California. I want to tell you about my husband, Jack. I did not love him at first. I thought I loved another man. His name was Owen. He was smart. He was funny. He said many sweet things. When I was with him, I felt happy. I thought he was the one for me, but I was wrong. I did not know what real love was at that time. I met Owen at a small coffee place near my office. I went there every morning before work. One day, he stood behind me in line. He smiled and said hello. The next day, he smiled again. Then he asked for my name. We started to talk more. After 1 week, he asked for my number. I gave it to him. I was excited. He looked cool and spoke with confidence. He made me feel special. I liked that feeling. We started to meet after work. He took me to nice places. He told me I was beautiful. He said he liked being with me. He had big dreams. He wanted to move to Los Angeles one day and start a business. I liked hearing about his ideas. He spoke a lot. I listened. I thought this was love. I was sure I wanted to be with him. Jack worked in the same building as me. I saw him in the elevator sometimes. He always smiled. He said good morning. One day he said, "We get coffee at the same place." I said yes. He laughed a little. He was quiet. He did not talk much. But he was kind. He opened doors for people. He helped when someone dropped something. He looked simple. I did not think much about him. After a few weeks, Owen said he had to travel. He went to Los Angeles for work. He said he would be gone for 2 weeks. I said goodbye to him at the train station. I hugged him. I felt sad, but I was also proud. I waited for his messages every day, but he did not message me much. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he did not. I asked if he was okay. He said he was busy. I told myself to be patient. Jack came to my office during that time. He brought me a coffee. He said, "I saw this and thought of you." I smiled and said thank you. I did not expect anything from him. He did not ask questions. He just smiled and left. That night, I waited for Owen's message. It did not come. I looked at my phone many times, but the screen stayed dark. I started to feel confused. I did not know what was wrong. One day, I saw Jack again. He looked at me and said, "You look tired. Are you okay?" I said, "Not really." He asked if I wanted to take a walk. I said yes. We walked slowly near a small park. The air was cool. The sky was soft. He did not talk much. He walked beside me. After some time, he said, "You don't have to talk. I just want to be here for you." I looked at him. He looked calm. He did not ask for anything. I felt quiet inside. Owen came back after 2 weeks. He did not call me. He did not ask to meet. I called him. He said, "I am tired. Maybe next week." His voice sounded different. It was cold. He did not sound happy. I waited for him, but he did not come. I felt small again. I felt like I did not matter. Jack asked me to come with him to a small party. It was his friend's house. I said yes. That night he picked me up. He was on time. He opened the car door. He asked if I was warm enough. At the house, his friends were nice. They said, "So this is Ellen?" I smiled. Jack looked at me with kind eyes. I felt safe with him. He did not try to show off. He did not try to be someone else. He just stayed close to me. On the way home, I asked him, "Why do you like me?" He said, "Because you are kind. Because you listen. Because you are real." I did not say anything. I looked out the window. The streetlights passed by. I felt quiet again, but I did not feel sad. I felt calm. A few days later, Owen called me. He said he missed me. He said he wanted to see me. I listened. Then I said, "I am seeing someone." He said, "It's not serious, right?" I said, "It is." He cares for me, and I care for him. Owen did not speak. Then he said, "I did not know this would happen." I said, "Me too." Then I ended the call. That was the last time I spoke to him. I did not tell Jack about that call. He did not need to know. He never asked about my past. He only cared about how I felt now. He never made me feel small. He never forgot my words. He listened. He was always there. And I started to feel peace with him. After some time, we became a couple. He did not say big words. He showed love in small ways. He came when I needed help. He asked how my day was. He made me tea when I was tired. He made me laugh when I was sad. He showed me real love. Not with gifts, not with big plans, just with care, time, and kindness. That is when I knew. I chose the right man. I chose the man who stayed. Before I continue my story, I want to ask you something. Where are you listening from? Sometimes I wonder if someone out there really understands me. Just knowing you're here gives me strength. After we became a couple, life felt easy. We did not do big things. We went for walks. We made simple dinners. We sat on the sofa and watched old movies. Jack never talked too much, but he always listened. When I was quiet, he waited. When I was sad, he gave me space. When I laughed, he smiled. He knew how to make me feel safe without using many words. That was new for me. I never had that before. My friends were surprised. They said, "You and Jack?" I said yes. They smiled and said he was a good man. One of my friends said, "I always saw the way he looked at you." I did not see it before, but now I understood. Jack was always kind. He was always near. I just never looked at him that way. I was too busy with someone who only cared when it was easy. Some nights, I sat with Jack and looked at his face. He looked calm. He did not try to hide who he was. He did not wear fancy clothes. He did not talk about money or big dreams. But he was strong in a quiet way. I felt lucky. I told him, "Thank you for being so patient." He smiled and said, "I'm just happy you're here." My heart felt warm. One day, I got sick. It was nothing big, just a bad cold. I stayed home from work. Jack came to my apartment with soup and orange juice. He cleaned my kitchen. He put a blanket on my legs. He did not say much. He just sat near me and read a book while I slept. When I woke up, he was still there. I said, "You didn't go?" He said, "No. You need rest. I'm here." I looked at him. I felt tears in my eyes, but they were good tears. I never felt this kind of love before. It was quiet. It was strong. Some weeks later, he took me to meet his parents. They lived outside the city. Their house was small but warm. His mother smiled when she saw me. His father shook my hand and said, "So this is Ellen." I was nervous, but they were kind. We sat at the table and ate together. They asked me about my family, my job, my favorite food. It felt simple and good. I saw where Jack learned his kind heart. I felt like I belonged. After dinner, Jack and I sat outside. The sky was full of stars. He looked at me and said, "I don't want to rush anything, but I want you in my life for a long time." I smiled. I said, "Me too." We did not say more. We did not need to. The stars were quiet, and so were we. But in that quiet, I felt love. That winter, we moved in together. We found a small place near my old street. The rent was not high. The rooms were not big. But it was ours. We bought a table and chairs. We found 2 small lamps at a local shop. Jack said, "Now we can read together at night." I laughed and said, "Yes, but only if you let me pick the book." He smiled and said, "Deal." Our life was not always perfect. Sometimes we forgot things. Sometimes we were both tired after work. Sometimes we ate simple food and just went to bed. But I never felt alone. I never felt like I had to fight for his time. I never felt afraid to speak. I started to see what love really means. It is not words. It is actions. It is not big plans. It is daily care. One Saturday morning we walked to the store. I saw Owen across the street. He looked different. His hair was longer. He wore dark glasses. He looked at me for a second. I looked back. He gave a small wave. I gave a small nod. Then I turned to Jack and said, "Let's go this way." Jack did not ask why. He just said, "Okay." That was it. I did not feel sad. I did not feel angry. I just felt done. Later that day, I told Jack, "I saw Owen today." He said, "Oh?" I said, "Yes, but I did not want to talk to him." Jack looked at me and said, "You don't have to. You don't owe him anything." I smiled and said, "I know." Then I looked at him for a long time. I thought, "You are the one I should have seen from the start." But I did not say that out loud. I just held his hand. In the spring, we started to talk about the future. Jack said he wanted to build a small life, step by step. He said, "No big house, just a home, no big plans, just simple days together." I said, "That sounds perfect." I did not want more. I only wanted real love. And I had it now. One evening we walked home from the store. The sky was pink. The air was soft. Jack stopped walking. He looked at me. He said, "I never thought I would say this, but..." Then he smiled. He took something from his pocket. It was a small ring. Nothing fancy. Just a gold band. He said, "Ellen, will you marry me?" I did not wait. I said, "Yes." My voice was strong. My heart felt clear. That night I sat on the sofa with him, my hand in his. I looked at the ring. I thought about my old self, the one who waited for calls that never came, the one who cried over cold words, the one who thought love was big and loud. That girl was gone. I had changed. I had grown. Now I saw the truth. Love is quiet. Love is kind. Love is someone who stays. After we got engaged, life stayed simple. We did not plan a big wedding. We did not need flowers or music or many people. We wanted a quiet day. Just a few family members, a few close friends, and each other. We picked a small place not far from home. There was a garden and a small room for food and chairs. The weather was warm. The sky was clear. My dress was simple. Jack wore a clean white shirt. When I looked at him, I felt calm. I did not feel nervous. I felt ready. When I walked to him that day, he smiled. He looked at me like I was the only one there. I smiled back. He held my hand. We said our words. Then the person said, "You are now husband and wife." People clapped. My eyes had tears, but they were happy tears. I had never felt this way before. Not with anyone. Not even close. This was real. I could feel it in every part of me. After the wedding, we went home. Jack made tea. I took off my shoes and sat on the sofa. He sat next to me. I looked at him and said, "We are married." He laughed and said, "Yes, we are." We did not have a big party. We did not go far away, but we were happy. We ate warm food. We watched an old movie. That night I fell asleep next to my husband. I felt safe. I felt at home. Life after the wedding was not perfect every day. We still had work. We still had bills. Sometimes we were tired. Sometimes we forgot small things. But now I had someone who was always on my side. I did not feel alone. I did not feel scared. Jack helped with everything. He cleaned the kitchen. He cooked sometimes. He made tea when I had a long day. He never asked for praise. He just did it. I started to do small things for him too. I made his coffee the way he liked. I folded his clothes with care. I packed his lunch on early mornings. We gave each other time. We gave each other peace. One day I came home from work feeling sad. My day was hard. A client shouted at me for something small. I felt tired and low. Jack saw my face and asked, "Do you want to talk?" I said, "Not yet." He said, "Okay." He made me warm food. He put on soft music. He did not try to fix everything. He just stayed close. That night I said, "Thank you for always being here." He said, "That's what love is." Another time, Jack got sick. He had a fever. I stayed home to care for him. I gave him water and soup. I read to him when he could not sleep. I sat near him all night. I did not feel tired. I just wanted him to feel better. When he opened his eyes, he said, "You are my home." I smiled. I kissed his forehead. I said, "You are mine too." We liked small things. We liked to sit in the sun on Sunday mornings. We liked to walk slowly after dinner. We liked to cook new food on weekends. We talked about many things. We talked about our past, our work, and our future. We did not always agree, but we always listened. We never shouted. We never walked away in anger. We stayed. We learned. We grew. One weekend, we went to visit my parents. They lived 2 hours away. My mother hugged Jack. She said, "You take good care of my girl." Jack smiled and said, "I try every day." My father shook his hand. He said, "You are a good man." I felt proud. I looked at Jack and thought, "You are everything I didn't know I needed." At night, my mother and I sat in the kitchen. She looked at me and said, "You look happy." I said. I am. She said, I can see it. Your eyes are soft now. I smiled. I said, he is gentle. He listens. He never tries to win. He just stays. My mother touched my hand. She said, that is the kind of love that lasts. One morning I woke up early. Jack was still asleep. I looked at his face. He looked peaceful. I thought about the old days. I thought about the time I cried over Owen. I thought about the pain, the waiting, the silence. Now, I saw the difference. Owen liked to talk about love. Jack showed love. Owen gave me big words. Jack gave me small actions every day. I did not need to wonder. I did not need to guess. I knew. Time passed. 1 year, then 2. We still lived in our small home. We did not need more. We had each other. That was enough. Some of our friends moved to big cities. Some got new jobs. Some posted pictures of trips and gifts. But we were not jealous. We were happy in our little world. We still made tea on cold nights. We still laughed at old movies. We still sat side by side without speaking and felt close. One evening, we were walking near our street. The sky was orange. The air was light. I looked at Jack and said, do you ever think about the past? He said, sometimes. Why? I said, I almost chose someone else. I almost lost this life. He stopped walking. He looked at me and said, but you didn't. You're here. I'm here. That's all that matters. I smiled. I said, yes, that's all. Now, when people ask me how I knew he was the one, I say, he stayed when I had nothing to give. He waited when I was not sure. He loved me when I did not love myself. That is why I chose my husband. Not because he was loud, not because he was bold, but because he was kind, because he was good, because he was real. He did not need to change the world. He just changed mine. If you liked my story, please like, comment, and share. More simple and emotional stories are coming soon.